This is a follow-on from the last one I did about what's going on at the moment in Israel, Gaza Strip. So rather than talking about why it's a fake flag, I'm going to actually talk about what problem, reaction, solution games they could be possibly playing. Right, so the first one is civil war. Where? Well, in Western Europe. Places like the UK in particular, where they've been importing large quantities of people that might sympathise with Hamas. Kind of bringing in all the dinghy divers and putting them up in 4-star hotels, and the fact that they're all fighting age men. It's also the fact that the UK government has decided to very publicly back the Israeli side. I heard Keir Starma. I listened to LBC today for the first time in about a year, so you don't have to. So Keir Starmer has been saying that the football stadium at Wembley, they're going to play a friendly on Friday, and he wants it all lit up in Israeli colours. So that's going to go down a bundle with basically Hamas supporting people who live in. There's a lot of people that of a particular religion there. Because I think, obviously, you know what they'll do? They'll have agent provocateurs on both sides, see if they can get some violence started, and then see if they can get some idiots to join in the violence that they've started. So the agent provocateurs act as a catalyst, and, then they try and get idiots. Second thing that I think it could be about is just distractions, that they like that. Obviously, the one thing they might want to distract people from is all the carnage that's being caused by the Britney Spears and whatever. Second one is Ukraine. No one's really interested in that anymore. I remember I used to teach business and management, so there's this thing called the product life cycle, and maybe that's people's attention. They've just got bored of it, like people got bored of salt and vinegar crisps, and you have to bring in a new flavour, hedgehog flavour or something. Maybe this is partially what's it about. And the other distraction is the distraction needed to get people to not think about the economic collapse that was brought about by all the money printing that was used to finance. I'm going to call it furlong. It's not. It wasn't furlong, but it sounds quite like furlong. So obviously you need something to distract the peasants from the rampant inflation and unemployment that they themselves consented to by going along with the peasants' pantomime. Third possibility is money. Yeah, war makes a lot of money for arms manufacturers. Maybe it was harder to just kind of get people interested in paying taxes to fund arms shipments over to that bloke who played the piano with his the fourth possible reason for all of this is it's linked to the first one. So if they can get some sort of civil unrest going on in places like Britain, France, Germany, that will give them an excuse to impose a police state, in a classic problem, reaction, solution. They create the problem, which is what's going on now in Gaza. That prompts an angry reaction from Muslims. Really fear what's going to go on in Gaza. Are they just going to just bomb that and just murder everybody? Be interesting to see whether they can actually get ordinary Israelis to do that killing, or whether they have to just use drones. I suspect the latter. It might not work well for them, because I think ordinary Israeli Defence Forces soldiers I don't think that they're just going to go around and actually kill people with rifles and grenades and stuff. So anyway, what they want to try and do in places like Britain is create a reaction amongst the local population. Law and order breaks down, and then they can come in and they can test out their anti-demonstration legislation and their anti-free speech laws, and move even closer to a police state. So that could be partially what this is about, not just in Britain but in all other countries as well. Fifth reason, again, this is linked to money, is war creates money rather, is another cover story for another round of money printing and quantitative inflation. Or we got to send, could work it on both sides. Or we got to send. But for me, the one thing that's absolutely sure of is that the sixth reason is Depop. It's my firm belief now that all of the world governments are basically a single entity. We already have this new world order. The puppets are already in place, and these people are Satanists. They hate human beings because each of us are made in God's image, and they just want to kill people because they don't like us because we're made in God's image. So, yeah, a lot of people are going to die on both sides. This is what I really don't like. I just can't get my head around these people who want others to pick sides. A lot of people are saying maybe the US is after Iranian natural gas and oil. My answer to that would be, well, maybe they are. Maybe some of the mafia gangs are allowed to have like little skirmishes or whatever, maybe. But I think the main reason, I really hope this doesn't happen. But if it does spread out to a world war, a third world war, like this Albert Pike's prediction, then famous Satanists, then they'll be over the moon about that because they hate us and they want to kill as many human beings as possible. Again, for if there are any Muslims watching this, just think about ordinary people living in Israel. They were subjected to some of the worst coercion on the planet, and they were forced to go and get the Britney Spears and the boosters. So this is hardly consummate with a government that is pro its own people. The Israeli government hates the Israeli people, just like the British government hates the British people, just like Hamas hates ordinary Muslims living in the Gaza Strip. So what we have to do is just keep our heads and not back sides, because basically they created both sides. They financially support both sides. They advance the agendas of both sides and they want us, above all else, to pick one of the sides. And then they want us to engage in maybe initially verbal conflict with people that have opted to go with the other binary choice. And then, from their point of view, hopefully, they want us to actually get at each other's throats physically. So let's not do that. Let's refuse to take sides, and let's just condemn all violence. And there was one other thing as well, is how can we use what's going on at the moment, for something positive, if that's possible. It's not really possible, but it's one tiny sliver of something useful that's come out of it. Is that it certainly helped me to identify what they call controlled opposition. So these are the people that are trying to get me to pick one of the two sides. So I'm not even going to mention the names of these outlets, but you've got some of them in the alternative, let's call them the alternative mainstream, who are pro-Palestinian, and then you've got others who are pro-Israeli. And as I keep on saying, the correct position, I believe, or the position I'm taking, is that I'm not going to pick any of those sides, because the Satanists have created both sides, and they just want us to back one of their sides and then engage in verbal and maybe physical conflict against people who've chosen the other side. So we mustn't take sides, and that's all I want to say today. So do not take sides in this. So God bless.